fiery siege at Waco and the killings at Jonesboro. And in the last 18 months, there have been 6 multiple killings in schools in the United States. Never before has that happened. The list goes on and on. Nothing has touched the heart of our country, and specifically our nation's teens, like the shooting at Columbine High School. Today, we're going to tell you some stuff you haven't seen on television. We're going to talk about stuff you didn't know. We're also going to try to find out what we can learn from this horrific tragedy. And of course, that question is why? Well, here's what some of the people of Littleton have to say.
Littleton is a place that you would think would be a very safe place to raise your children. There's beautiful homes, golf courses, parks.
Here he goes, here he goes. You gonna win the race?
It had all of the things that America looks for. That's why this tragedy is completely shocking.
It's really hard, you know? This is not a war zone. I live here, I walk my dogs here. My kids grew up here.
The kids were in just a total state of shock. They were saying things and talking about their friends. One boy he said, "They killed my friend. They just shot him."
Being that close to death, I mean, having a situation like that makes you think twice about your friends and your family and what you believe in.
Me and my friends just came to write on the windows because we know that she's watching us and smiling and laughing at us and stuff, and we know that she'd be kicking our butts right now if we knew that we were crying about her.
We can't even envision this happening in our high schools, and so it's stunning. You have to step back. It's going to take a few days before anyone can figure out how to handle it.
I think love and caring for each other is about the only thing that can heal this community and this state.
Just be a part of your community and just be sure that you tell everybody that you know that you love them every day. I mean, so many of those parents didn't get the chance to say goodbye to their kids.
Why did this have to happen? I just want to know why this happened, and I hope nobody ever has to go through this again because it's been so hard.
The events of April 20th have changed the lives of the Columbine High School students and their families. Probably forever. You don't go through something like that without an enormous impact. What you are about to hear are the 911 calls that were made by some of the victims as they were being terrorized by the crazed gunmen who we now know were members of this organization that, you know, there's like hundreds of them across the country with different names. The press likes to call this the trench coat mafia, which is a very ominous name.
He turned the gun straight at us and shot, and my God, the window went out, and the kid standing there with me, I think he got hit. Okay. Something in my shoulder. Okay. We've got help on the way, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Oh, God. Stay in the line with me. Oh, God. Just stay down. Do we know where he's at? I'm sorry? Do we know where he's at? Okay. I'm in the library. He's upstairs. He's right outside of here. He's outside? He's outside of this hall. Outside of a hall or outside of the hall? Okay. There are alarms and things going off. There's smoke. My God, smoke is like coming into this room. Okay. I've got the kids under the table here. I don't know what's happening in the rest of the building. You've got the kids there? Library. And I've got every student in this library on the floor. You better stay on the floor. Is there any way you can lock the doors? Smoke is coming in from out there. I'm looking. Okay. The gun is right outside the library door. Okay.
Wait for I'll be set up on the west side of the back of the school, by the ball field. C2, I've got the west side by the ball field, supposedly they're in black trench coat.
Brian is 17 years old. Brian was a student at Columbine High School, freshman?
Yeah, no, junior.
Junior. And he was shot by Eric Harris. You, in your own words, tell me what happened.
I was walking down the hall like I do every day, almost every day, and we were walking towards the doorways at the end of the hall, and there's windows in it, and we were looking out the windows, and there's 2 people outside, and you can see, I saw Eric shooting down a hill and Dylan shooting off into a field.
What'd you think?
I couldn't believe that they were shooting anything at all, because you can't bring any sort of gun to a school in Colorado at all without getting in trouble. I mean, so my curiosity got me, I guess. And so we walked up to the window, and I thought it was a paintball gun at first.
That would be my first thought. Okay, the guy is that kind of guy, and he's playing with a paintball gun.
And so I went through the first doorway and walked up to the second doors and was looking out the window, and I was standing next to it, and then Eric turned and looked at me and saw my hat and shot me from through the window.
Why would he shoot you?
I think he just turned and saw my hat because they were looking for any sort of...
What does your hat represent?
It's Nebraska University, and they're pretty big with the athletics.
So this would make you a jock?
Yeah.
Are you a jock?
No, I don't play any sports at the school.
It's just wearing the hat.
Mm-hmm.
So you think he saw the hat and that made him upset or whatever his plan was.
Mm-hmm.
And he shot you. Where did he shoot you?
He shot me in the chest. It hit me right here, and it went through. When it went through the glass, the bullet split into 2 or 3 different pieces, and one piece hit me right here, and it hit my necklace that I was wearing, and then another piece of the bullet hit me over here. So I was pretty lucky.
You retrieved the bullet?
Yeah, I pulled it out of my shirt later on.
You thought they were coming after you?
Yeah, and so we ran back into a storage room in the library.
And hid in the storage room?
Yeah.
What did you hear Dylan and Eric saying? You heard the gunshots, could you hear them talking?
I couldn't hear them talking as much as I heard people yelling, people screaming, and then you hear a gunshot, and then it just stops. And you could hear them shooting out computer screens and windows and anything out there.
But they weren't saying anything.
That I could hear. I heard them when Isaiah, the black boy, I heard him yell, "I hate niggers," and then shot him.
You heard him say, "I hate niggers."
Mm-hmm.
What was the sound of their voice? Were they laughing? Were they serious? Were they angry? Was it a joke? What's your opinion?
Their voice, when they were, that I could hear, was like they liked it. It was a game.
This is fun. I hate niggers, bang, fun, fun, fun.
And you'd hear explosions, and then you'd hear them yell, "Woo!" like they'd scored a touchdown or something. They were winning.
I think that at 17, it's kind of hard to know the finality of death. But it's an amazing, amazing thing, isn't it? If I asked you, why do you think they did it, do you have an answer?
No, just that they wanted to, well, yeah, I guess so. They wanted to prove something. They wanted to get attention since they were outcasts. And nobody really talked to them outside of their French coat mafia. They wanted to get more attention, and this is their way of doing it, I guess.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. When we come back, we're going to talk to 3 young people who were suspected to be members of the Trench Coat Mafia, and they were found and detained by the police and the SWAT team immediately after the shooting at Columbine High School. This was, by the way, all captured on video. We're going to talk to them when we come back. We'll be right there.
Go to school, I mean, just cause, you know, but it's gonna change. I don't know, people are gonna be closer after this. They're gonna be a lot closer. Because it's actually realizing, well, we shouldn't fight, we should just be together. And people are gonna be closer.
I would hope that people wouldn't give up, that there may be violence and distress, but that I hope they'll be able to find peace someday.
I think it's unfortunate that they're placing the blame where they are. I think that's very unfortunate because now people like us are becoming even more of outsiders. And that's not what people like us need, you know. We don't need to fit in, but we need to be accepted.
We have been talking with Brian Anderson, one of the teenagers who was shot at Columbine High School by Eric Harris. And of course, it's been about a week. The question that people ask, who else is responsible besides Dylan and Eric? Minutes after the shooting, the police, along with the SWAT team, thought they had an answer, didn't they? And what was the answer? The answer might have been Matt Nolte and Jim and Matt Eckert. They were detained, searched, and questioned. Tell me about it. Tell me what happened.
Well,
any one of the three of you.
We'd started going down to, or we'd heard it on the radio, and
you were in a car.
Yeah, we were driving around and decided to go down there to see what was going on. And it kind of got us a bit curious. And we got down there and we started walking up this path that was going around the lake. And there were people, you know, with baby strollers and, you know, kids rollerblading and whatnot, so we thought we were fine. And we take about 10 steps off the path to go up and talk to a cop that's up on top of the hill, try to find out if we can get any more information. And all of a sudden we turn around and hear sirens, and there's 3 cop cars behind us with their guns pointed at us, telling us to turn around and get our hands behind our head. And we start doing everything that they tell us to do and get down on our knees. And then as
What's
we're
going through your head?
Scared.
Yeah, I would
just
think.
Pure fear.
All right, so you do everything they tell you to do.
As we're getting down on our knees, we see a golf cart coming up from the other side of the hill with about 7 SWAT team members, all of them carrying M16s and assault shotguns, and they come up and they have all those pointed at our heads, and you know, they're still telling us what to do, and they lay us flat down on the ground and start searching us and, you know, emptying out all our pockets, scattering it all over the field.
Now, you know, you do not know what this is about. Put yourself in their position. You do not know what this is about. Now it's retrospective. It was your clothing that made them think you might be involved. Why?
Because we look different.
Because you look different.
Yeah, that, and
they handcuffed you?
Yeah, they handcuffed us and
held you for how long?
Yeah, they were dragging us around by like our chains on our necks, stuff like that.
For how long?
They detained us for about an hour and
Right.
questioned us on like if we knew the trench coat mafia, stuff like that. I mean, we've never even heard of them before that day.
What an experience. Now, let's talk about the aftermath of that experience. You've had death threats?
I have.
So have I.
Why?
I don't know. People seem to think that we have something to do with it just because they saw us on TV.
In other words, it's like in the newspaper. If somebody accuses you of something and then they
Everyone
retract it,
thinks it's
the
true.
retraction's on page 31, but the headline is on page 1.
And it must be true, whatever the press says,
Yeah.
and the press screwed up a lot with
What did they
ours.
say? How did the press screw up?
They said we were friends with these people, that we hung out a lot, that we had talked over the internet with them.
Were you friends? Did you talk on the...
We
Were you
had-
friends?
No.
We didn't even
Did
know
you
them.
talk on the internet?
No.
Did you know them?
No.
Okay. Did you know how they dressed?
No.
No.
We had no clue who they were. I mean, we would not know anything about them.
So what's it like to have the nation watching you?
Kind of scared. Kind of scary. I mean, everywhere I go, I mean, I'm like looking around because
Do you think that in any way you're like Eric and Dylan?
No.
No.
I mean, is that things that do you think about those things?
No.
No.
We don't think about going out and shooting people. We don't condone violence at all. It's not at all a way of life.
Let me talk to Jim. Jim, when we were interviewing you, you said some really interesting things to our producer. You said you have been pushed around and made fun of.
Oh yeah, all throughout high school, even before then, because I was into this kind of stuff. I went through my gothic phase, and I was a punk before that and went back to punk. And I got pushed around in school, you know, by like a lot of the like, I don't know if they were athletic or not. They wore a lot of the athletic gear, but they weren't like, you know, real nice kids. They just, you know, start pushing you around, push you into pop machines, try to throw you in trash cans, and like a big group of them.
Jim and I went to school together, and the only way we could like keep ourselves from like getting beat up or getting, you know, in a lot of trouble, I think, was to be able to stick together.
I have to ask this question. Why do you dress this way?
It's comfortable, and the
Well,
fact
now
that
wait, it's comfortable. A heavy chain around your neck, your hair out like that.
These chains actually probably weigh less than a pound. And they probably weigh a few
No,
ounces.
I don't take that you dress this way because it's comfortable.
Actually, the jeans,
they're really
jeans we wear,
comfortable.
the pants we wear, I mean, it's like, it's those pants, when you get off work and you go home and you want to change into something comfortable, you know, you don't have to worry about anything, that's what we want to wear. Something that we don't, you know, don't have to, like, worry about.
That, and it's also about expression.
Aha!
Like,
I'm
the way
not
that-
buying the it's comfortable. I'm buying a quote by you. It's a free country and we can dress how we want. I'm buying that. Why are you here today? What do you want to say?
I want to say first off that we had no part in this at all.
Somebody lost their job over this, right?
He did.
Mine did. Yeah.
Okay. Say what you're going to say. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, we had no part in this at all, and you know, we want society to know that just because we look different, we act different, we think a bit different than what normal society does, not all of us are like what Eric and Dylan are. Or we don't want to go out and do what they did. We don't believe anything like that.
We'll be right back.
I'm having a hard time visualizing the fact that someone did that close to home, and to people that did not deserve something like this to happen. I mean,
the very first thing we felt for the kids was just terror, the terror that they felt coming out of them. But as it progressed and as this is all evolved, it's incredible that the love and that community spirit and the faith and the hope that's coming out from everyone.
I'm really proud of the community for pulling together so closely, just to see that everyone is there to reach out for everybody else.
Talking with people who have been in or are now in Columbine High School, and in a minute we're going to hear from a 17-year-old junior. And I think it's important that you listen to what he has to say very, very closely. This is John Ungerland. John, you're a junior at Columbine High School. It started out like any other normal day, and Dylan and Eric were in your first hour class. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Sally. Okay. I just went to school that day to like a normal day. And
during the fifth hour, Dylan and Eric decided to go to their car, right? And this, you were taking a test.
Yeah, I was in math class that hour.
Okay. You knew them. Tell me about them.
I wasn't friends with them, but I did know them pretty well, especially Eric. I spent about a year and a half in the same class with him every hour, first hour of school, video productions, and I would sit in class with Eric and for about 7 months at Dylan every day and talk to them about, I would just talk to my teacher, and then behind me they would be sitting there talking to each other. And I
what did they talk about?
Eric was like the ringleader, and he'd initiate all the conversations, and sometimes he'd try to speak to me, and I wouldn't usually acknowledge him just because I wasn't interested in becoming their friend or anything. I just knew them from the class, and most of the time they'd sit around and talk about, you know, the stuff they were interested in. It was, you know, their lives. They liked to talk about.
Like what?
They liked to talk about weapons and sometimes war, sometimes minorities and certain groups of people that they didn't like.
Like what?
Eric especially, he always referred to to the Jewish people. He always talked about Jewish people. And Dylan would just kind of follow along with him and say, yeah, me too, and that kind of thing.
Okay. Did they dress funny?
Not at school all the time. A lot of people say that they always wore their trench coats to school and that they always wore black, but that's not necessarily true, especially in Eric's case. A lot of times he wore just plain clothes, like white shirts with his
So you could say the three gentlemen dress a little stranger than they dress.
No, yeah, they didn't ever look like Eric and Dylan never looked like these guys.
I was just, you have to forgive me, I was just making a point with that. You still didn't exactly explain what these two young men were like.
They were actually, Eric and Dylan were both very bright young men. They were very smart, and Eric especially. And Dylan was very good with computers. They both liked computers a lot. And their personalities were a lot different. I mean, just given the circumstance, a lot of people can tell that. And
could you have ever thought in a million years that what happened could have happened?
I never would have ever expected Dylan and Eric to do something like this.
Would you say they were in any way abnormal?
I would have to say that Dylan and Eric were a little bit abnormal in the way that they acted, because normal kids wouldn't go around talking about, you know, racism and stuff like that, like Eric and Dylan would.
That's unusual in your group or unusual in your school?
Yeah.
That kind of hatred?
Yeah, that kind of hatred would be.
You feel that they did not act alone. What did you see?
I went to, I spent a lot of time after I was evacuated from the building going out and looking for people, especially for my own family, for my sister and for my girlfriend. And after I found all of them and had gone to all the areas where they had set up people to look for your relatives and friends, I went to the mall to pick up someone, which was my girlfriend. And after I picked her up, I headed back towards the school in a neighborhood behind the school. And actually what I saw was a small red car that had 2 passengers in it, which I did recognize from the school. I hadn't seen them in a long time.
These are people you know?
Yeah, I knew them.
And you know their names, don't use them?
No, I'm not going to tell their names.
Okay. And what struck you about them?
Well, first off, I recognized that's what struck me, and then second was that my girlfriend said, "Hey, does that guy have a camera?" So I took a second glance back, and actually what I saw was that the passenger did have a gun. And so I just continued driving.
So when this was happening, they were leaving the school grounds in a red Geo.
They were already off the school grounds in the neighborhood behind the school.
And they're guys you knew from school,
Yeah,
people you knew
yeah.
from school, and they had a gun.
Yeah, one of them did, the passenger.
Okay. I'm going to ask you not to tell me who it was.
Yeah.
Have you told this to the police?
Yes, I did. Well, immediately after I saw it, I reported it to a state patrol officer, yeah.
Were they members of the Trench Coat Mafia?
Yes, from school I recognized them as members of the Trench Coat Mafia.
We'll be right back.
This isn't a Denver tragedy or a Colorado tragedy. It seems to be a United States or a worldwide tragedy. The whole world has stopped to examine many things.
The biggest lesson these kids have learned is how much damage that hatred and intolerance can do.
I think the violence that happened is a sign of a culture that keeps pushing the envelope, and not even Littleton can escape that kind of pressure.
And I believe that that's correct, pushing the envelope indeed. Of course, the question that everyone asks is what factors are most responsible for this tragedy? Now, we're very lucky, and little plug, we have the most active website on television, so it's easy for us to go to the computer, and we conducted a poll on our website, sallyjr.com. Here's what we got. 37% of the people who answered feel the cause is neglectful parents. 27% blame the easy availability of guns. 22% blame the hazing and the bullying at school. And others attribute it to factors like movies and TV violence and video games. Let's take a look at this interview with Stephen Partridge, a friend of Dylan Klebold's, who actually rode in the limo on prom night with Dylan. Steve says Dylan had a lot of reasons to hate. Take a look.
My name's Stephen Partridge. I'm a junior at Columbine High School. I was in the math hall, as in math, and we were one of the fortunate people because as soon as the fire alarms turned off, there's a door available immediately, so we just left the class. I hadn't been at the school for most of the day. I had a marketing banquet to go to for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th hours, and it started during 5th. But I was in class, and most of the people in my class thought it was a joke or a fire alarm. No one really had any information until we'd already been outside at the park. Everyone was standing by the fence wondering what was going on, and then as soon as they started hearing the explosions, they pushed us farther back across the park, and we just waited. One of the gunmen was a pretty good friend of mine. The other was an acquaintance. One of my best friends died later in the hospital, and I knew about 4 or 5 more people that were dead.
The gunman, which one was that?
Dylan, he was a pretty good friend of mine. I mean, I'd probably been around him 20, 30 times, and it just never struck me that he could do this. You know, I was with Dylan almost for 5 hours on Saturday because we went in the same limo to prom, and he just never struck me as a person who would make this kind of a decision and kill people.
What do you do when you think that your teen is headed down a destructive path? Debbie said Alex was suspended of school because he threatened to blow it up. She says he doesn't have many friends and he doesn't know how to manage his anger. Debbie, where are you? Do you worry that he could turn into somebody who would hurt others? Stand up, both of you.
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Who have you gone to for help, and what help have they given you?
The school, and none. They won't help. I mean, even in the middle school, they don't help. High school nor middle school.
What do they say to you?
Nothing really. They just sort of, we'll see what we can do.
And that's it?
That's it.
But you're really worried about him.
Yeah, I am. I don't like the way he's...
Tell me about it.
I don't like the way he's isolated himself. He'll come home from school, he sits and plays video games. I work sometimes 12, 16 hours a day, so he'll come and find the video games, and I take him off of them, and I want him to go outside and play. I want him to go out and play basketball, meet people. And we've lived in the same neighborhood for 3 years.
And you don't know anyone?
Oh, I know some. I don't
But
never
he doesn't.
home, but he really doesn't.
Alex, what are you feeling when your mother's saying that about you? I mean, you know, I don't know how I'd feel if my mother was standing there on national television saying these things about me. You understand that she's trying to get you help.
Yeah, I understand. It's just, it's not that easy, just going out and just doing it, you know?
Tell me something. Do you think you're quick to anger?
Yes, I got a very short temper.
Okay. Is Mother right in most of the things she said about you?
Yes.
Did you want to blow up the school?
No, I did not.
Then tell me what happened.
Me and my friends just stayed inside. One of the teachers ticked me off, so I started going inside and cussing up a storm, up one side, down the other. One of my friends was talking about something on a movie, I think, movie or TV about war or something like that. And he said something about a bomb, and one of the teachers said, I said something about I was going to blow up the school.
So you said, your friend told you there was a movie with a bomb and you said you're going to blow up the school. You're not in school now, are you?
Yeah, I'm in school.
They put you back?
Yeah.
Are they giving you any help?
Nah, teachers just ignore me. They don't care.
What do you do when you get angry?
Cuss up a storm, punch walls, whatever I find, windows, steel walls, steel doors, brick walls, anything.
Break things.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As a prospective teacher in New York City, this really makes me think. And I think that a message should go out to all educators that before they teach their students facts, they have to teach them to embrace diversity, and that it's important to understand that there is no one way to be normal. It's okay to have spiked hair, it's okay to wear a chain, it's okay to be a boy who wears makeup. And I think that that's very important. I think that there will be less violence if teachers take this stand.
Go ahead.
John, I wanted to ask you, when Dylan and them were talking behind your back, you know, when they was asking you things, weren't you really kind of scared? What was going through your mind, and was you scared to tell anybody?
No, because what happened was that it would happen probably twice a week, I'd say. I'd be sitting next to him and they'd start to talk to each other, and then Eric would try to initiate conversation with me. And just, I mean, given the background that I knew Eric and Dylan were coming from, I never would have expected them to follow any of these actions through. So I was never scared of them, or that they were going to do anything, so I really never thought about telling anybody. That's about it.
Okay. Are you afraid now that you said you've seen other members of the Trenchcoat Mafia armed?
I am still a little bit worried about...
Are the police giving you any protection?
No, because I've only told them to this point.
Now
I've
you've
the
told
world, but that's
everyone.
okay.
Do the kids make fun of you?
Yeah.
He tried to make friends with one friend, But this friend was not really a friend. They cut school. The kid said, I know a place we can go. It was an abandoned house. They broke the door in. They went in. They got caught. He now has a felony charge.
So much sometimes for friends. Take a break. We will answer the school teacher's plea in just a moment. Talking about Littleton, Colorado. Go.
For the two boys in the center, one, I apologize that it happened, and my hearts go out for you too. And because I was, matter of fact, watching it live on TV myself from the beginning all the way to the end, and I apologize it even happened, because it can happen anywhere. And for the three other gentlemen, not trying to be cruel, and I don't know if you, I mean, some lady told me that the signs on your jackets were bands. Can I ask you a question? Do you know what those signs mean?
Yes.
Do you know? Do you know what they mean?
Which one's the
okay,
anti-SWAT
well, hold your jacket
stickers?
open and I'll explain.
That one's yours.
Okay.
I mean, you have them on there. You have, okay, that's swastika with thing. It means you're not
Anti-swastika.
Okay, anti-swastika.
That.
Okay, which is good. I like anti-swastika. But then now you have a cross with a line through it. That means you're anti-Christian.
No.
That means, excuse me, sir.
Wait, what does it mean? Explain.
It's a band. It's a punk band. That's their symbol.
I understand that, sir, but that is anti-Christian. That means you don't care about the swastika and you don't care about Christians. I mean, it's like if I was
Wait. That's not true, is it?
No, it's not.
No, you see people with like, you know, a shirt that, you know, it's got like a football team or something on it. You know, and people wear that around because they're proud, because they like that football team. And he's wearing his hat because he likes Nebraska, right?
Right.
You know, he's wearing that
Well, I'm
because
glad you're
he likes the
talking,
band.
so you're saying it's just the band. I'm glad you're talking about clothes. Kristen and Trevor are also from Colorado, members of the goth or gothic culture. Explain to people who don't know what a goth is. What is it?
Goth is it's a movement that is more surrounded. It's not about hate or anger or violence or anything like that. It's about more along the lines of beauty, acceptance of diversity. I would mainly say understanding. And
why they dress in black?
Pretty much, we dress in black as a form of expression. A lot of people, the punks, they express a lot of their feelings through their clothing. We express a lot of our feelings through our clothing. A lot of the gothic scene expresses their feelings of depression and sorrow.
Are you depressed?
I do suffer from depression, yes.
Have you ever seen a doctor?
Yes,
about
I have seen many psychiatrists.
Has it helped you?
Yes.
Good. We're talking about, just for the moment, clothes and appearance. One of you said there are people in the Colorado community who have been very helpful and supportive.
Yeah, there's a company called the Rising Phoenix. It's a gothic coffee house that we attend to regularly. They're constantly fighting for, helping people out who are in situations like this. And, it's a safe haven for anybody and everybody who wants to come. They're more than welcome, as long as they don't
So
start
there
any
are
trouble.
people who are supportive of people
yeah.
who don't look like everyone else.
Yeah.
Why'd you want to be here today? Tell me.
I basically came here to let everyone know that we are with the community on what happened. We are totally against it. The Gothic community in and of itself is not violent. It's not hateful. We are not a religious organization. We are not here to, say that what Eric and Dylan did was correct. We're totally against it, and we would like to do what we can to help the community. There are a lot of outcasts. I was an outcast in high school, I was an outcast in middle school, I was an outcast in elementary school.
John, as somebody who doesn't look too much like an outcast, you have said that there was a teacher pulled the fire alarm, opened up the doors, and the teacher saved hundreds of lives by doing that.
Yeah, I do feel that. I'm not sure what teacher it was, but in the math hall, one of the teachers did run by and open up all the doors that he could, and he just was yelling in every room, "Get out of the school as fast as you can." And then, as far as I know, he's the one that pulled the fire alarm. And I think every student that got out of the math hall needs to appreciate what that teacher did for them.
Do you feel the kids in your school tormented Dylan and Eric because of the black coats, because of the way they talked? And did they talk about death a lot?
Well,
War, death,
yeah.
killing, and violence.
Yes, Eric and Dylan did talk about that a lot.
Okay, do you feel the kids in your school persecuted them?
I do think that some people pushed them can be attributed with pushing Eric and Dylan over the edge.
You think that did
But not
happen?
to the, I mean, everybody gets made fun of in high school to a certain extent. And
How do the people in your high school feel about the goths and the punks?
some of them would probably ridicule them, but even jocks get ridiculed, and any clique or group of kids in high school gets ridiculed to some extent during their time at high school, and not by any means did they have the right to go over the edge and kill anybody.
We'll take a break. Dr. Kathy Levinson might want to say a word or two about that. Author of First Aid for Tantrums, here to tell parents what she thinks is the most important thing we can do for our children. Talk to me about the parents.
Well, I don't think that's a bad place to start. You know, this is a country that has never had so much and done so badly when it comes to raising children.
Why are we doing so bad?
Well, I think we're a country in crisis. You know, and number one, you can pay attention. You must pay attention to your kids. Instead of minding your own business, you need to mind their business. Kids need to be supervised. It doesn't matter how mature they look, how athletic they are, how smart they appear. Kids need supervision. They need to be accountable. You need to know where they are and who are they doing it with. And also, love them with everything you have. Give your kids everything they need, but don't give your kids everything they want.
Do you think Eric and Dylan were just like any other kids?
Well, here's the thing. You know, I think many of us, when the reports are in that we're going to find out that these boys had some type of deep mental illness buried deep within their brains, or that we're going to find out that they had some kind of hideous child abuse going on in their house. But I'll tell you something. None of that is going to be true, because these boys are very much like and have very much the same face as many of the kids in this country who are smoldering in the back of classrooms, ready to go off.
What does this mother do about this son?
This mom can do a lot of things, and it sounds like she has attempted to do a lot of things. Number one is to hold on to her authority as the parent and not to give it away to anybody. She needs to be believable to her son, and to believe that not only does she love him unconditionally, but she is the authority to him unconditionally, and to set those rules and to follow it. Both she and her son and the school must work together. They must work together and be on the same page when it comes to any trouble that he's having in the school.
Families are a democracy?
Absolutely not.
Families are a dictatorship?
Absolutely no. I think that parents, first of all, being a good parent is not an intellectual exercise. You don't have the biggest brain to have the best kids. If it did, all the smart people would have all the best kids, and we all know that's not true. What it takes to be a good parent is two things, is to have your heart and to have your gut. And if something doesn't feel right, you need to check it out and know what your kid is doing. But importantly, never forget that you are the #1 role model in your child's life. There is no one more important in their world. Forget about all the celebrity du jours, all the Dennis Rodmans, all of those people. Forget about them, because when the day is done, it is you that your child is looking at. And you want to ask yourself at the end of the day, am I the kind of adult that I want my kid to grow up to be? And if you're not, change it, do better.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
He was jumped by 12 jocks,
Yeah,
beaten
one
up
of our
because
friends
he
that-
looks like them, and this happened shortly after the
He was in
Columbine.
school.
Yeah, he was in
Violence, and he's
school.
in bad shape. Broken
Yeah,
jaw and
he's
everything.
in the hospital right now.
Violence begets violence.
Well, and
As, by the way, we are going to try to help this family out. Pat's going to talk to you about our aftercare. You can look for any information from us that you need on our website, sallyjr.com. As we search for answers, our hearts reach out to the families who lost their loved ones in this senseless tragedy. We'll see you next time.